Well, I'm off for another hike this morning, Jake and I. It's in Durham, New Hampshire, so it's about a 7-minute drive. It's a nice drive. It's a nice day today, although a little bit overcast, maybe just a little cooler, so I'm anxious to see what the trail is like. Well, again, welcome to Marsh Preserve. It's a town park. Turned out to be a beautiful day today. Jake is with me, so if there's any sudden jerky movement, it's because he decided to see something he wanted to take a look at. We'll take a look at this. Gives us a bit of a map. And some of the things you may see. And of course, there's my boy, checking out to see who has been here before him. Jake, you ready to go for a hike? You ready to go? It's the wrong way, buddy. I would rate this as a really easy trail. It's wide open. Probably in mountain bike terms would call this a fire road, although I'm not too sure that it was ever used for that, but it certainly is wide enough. Packed with, I guess, packed dirt, and it's typical in New Hampshire. There's a lot of granite boulders and whatnot. And it's kind of picturesque because as you pan around, you can just see we're bounded on either side with what once were probably old borders to somebody's private property. As I mentioned at the beginning of the trail, this trail is maintained and owned by the town of Durham, which is where the University of New Hampshire is located. It's a beautiful little town, and they have several trails around here. So how you doing there, buddy? How you doing, Jake? You having a good trail? You having a good hike? Smile for the camera. Say hi to everybody. I took a side trail to come down here to take a look at this area for you. The lighting was a little better than what we had on the marsh. It was on the opposite side of the trail as we first came in. A couple of things that you can see in here are kind of like water trails. Those are usually made by beaver. So I can see a lodge. I don't know whether you can see the lodge. It's that pile of sticks just beyond that part of green up there. I'll see if I can't telephoto in a little bit for it. It's right in there. Right beyond that little patch of green, there's a lodge for beaver. And if this were further north, there's a chance we might even find a moose standing ankle deep or even up to his belly, eating some of the aquatic stuff that grows around here. This is kind of into the sun, so I'm not too sure how well you'll be able to see this. There's a little bit of fall color. I don't know what's going on this year. It's later than it usually is. That the fall colors have only really just started, at least in southern New Hampshire. Maybe northern New Hampshire's further along. Several years ago, we had a fall where things just kind of turned yellow and brown. It was ugly. Nobody knew exactly why. It had been the first time in a long time. Lots of speculation as to why that happened. It looked to me as though, wow, maybe we're going to have another one of those kinds of falls. And we might still, as I say, the color's not spectacular yet. Here's hoping that things will improve. So I just wanted to show you, this is a marsh, beaver pond, whatever you care to call it, and they're dotted all over everywhere in this state. Now we're at the other end of the marsh, and that's probably one of the biggest beaver lodges I've ever seen. I don't know whether that's condominium with a multi-family dwelling or what that happens to be. The trail goes right down alongside this, and the sun is behind a cloud. So it gives us a pretty good opportunity to take a look at how big this, well, maybe doesn't come through on the video, but this is a fairly big marsh area. Jaker is being a real challenge this morning. This trail, because of its proximity to the university, I suppose, has a lot of young people walking on it, and he's puppy enough that he just doesn't understand that he can't go with them. So I'm having a struggle with keeping him under control, training him, and keeping my mind focused on what it is this is all about. So tune back as we travel. Now we're at the other end of that water feature that I really couldn't show you on the way into the trail because it was just into the sun. And now, of course, we're down low enough, I guess, and there's just enough cloud cover today to make this a very pretty shot. It's gorgeous because of the trees. Very serene. I'm going to zoom out so you maybe get a better idea of the surrounding area as well. It just couldn't be prettier. So again, New Hampshire, southern New Hampshire, loaded northern too, but New Hampshire's just filled with these marsh areas, natural habitat for all kinds of wildlife. When I was a kid, we used to call these fairy rocks. I don't know where that term came from. I think we children believed that in the twilight the fairies came out and danced on them. We had a fairly active imagination as a kid. Maybe that explains my obsession with granite walls and big outcropping of boulders like that. It just so happened to mark some farmer's field or property line at some point in this state's history. Well, as you can see by my red face, the hike is over. We had a real good time. Jacob, I was pretty sure, was going to be a real problem this time. There were many, that's probably the wrong way to say it. We met 1, 2, 3, I think 4 different hikers. 2 had dogs, and early on in the hike he acted like a complete and total idiot. So I was pretty sure this was a bad idea for a brand new trail to bring the boy along. There he is in the back seat. I don't know whether you can see him. There he is. He's hiding behind the headrest. But anyway, he calmed himself down. One of the things that he's not used to, of course, is walking across planks where it's marshy and where you're going over water. And the first time around, I literally had to drag him, which, he's 60 pounds, so me dragging 60 pounds across had to be 150 feet of planking. And he didn't enjoy it, and I certainly didn't enjoy it. But on the way back, and then the next time we hit the planks, I just told him what a good boy he was, and there was water there, so he was walking right on the planks. So he was a real good boy. He figured it out pretty quickly, and we met another dog on the way back, and he was real good about it. So he's a smart boy. I guess he was just feeling his oats this morning, and as a result, I thought this might be a bit of a trial for him, but he was great. This is, again, Long Marsh Trail in Durham, New Hampshire, and certainly one that I would recommend. It's an easy trail. It's a beautiful trail. There's a couple of water features, thus, I guess, the name Long Marsh, and certainly enjoyed it. And if you're in the area, be sure to look it up.